welcome. This is a super important podcast about hair, question mark, featuring Ryan Teal and Steven Adams as your co-hosts. Let's begin.
I'm going to move, actually, because I think I'm all backlit and my hair looks like shit. Oh, wait. That looks better.
There you go. As long as you stay there you go. Well, welcome to a super important podcast. We have Ryan Teal here and myself, Steven Adams. And with us today, we have a very dear friend of ours, Kim Bennett. So welcome to our show and to our podcast.
Yay!
Pretty awesome.
So I want to say a little, I'm super stoked to have you, Kim. Evidently, we've known each other for a long time. We used to know each other. Well, actually,
all of us.
You did too as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Rad. So, and then you do a lot of work with Hanzo Scissors. What?
Well, I actually, I don't work for the company, no, but I do help them out from time to time. Yeah.
Nice. And I'm glad you're doing this with us. Now, my whole thought is, why don't you tell us a little bit about your history and tell everybody a little bit about your history? And while you guys do that, I'm going to go grab my drink. So.
Well, do you guys want me to start? Where would you like me to start? Beauty college or
How about we start with who are you, what do you do now, and how did you get to where you're at?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, again, I'm Kim Bennett for your viewers, and I live in Denver, Colorado. And I have many titles. I'm a national educator for Paul Mitchell still for almost 30 years now. Wow. And I am Sola Salons Studios Culture Ambassador and Director of Industry Relations. So how I got to all these crazy titles, I guess I would just say I came from a small town. I went to a really vocational technical school, beauty college. It's kind of cute. I didn't even know there was a school for Vidal Sassoon or anything like that. Very humble beginnings. And, being able to have access with John Paul Mitchell Systems and trainings with them. And that's where I met the both of you along my journey many, many years ago. And I would fast forward to, I was a booth renter in a salon here in Denver. And I know that Paul Mitchell started their Paul Mitchell Focus Salon program, which is basically a perks program for salon owners. And in 2004, and I knew I wanted to be in one, but there wasn't one in Denver, Colorado yet. And so that's when I met the owners, or the co-founders, I should say now, of Sola Salon Studios. And we just kind of met in a Starbucks, and I talked to them about their concept they were creating. They had not opened yet. And I just saw a lot of integrity with them, and I saw their vision, and I believed in them like they did believe in me. And so I kind of signed right up then in 2004. So it will be 15 years in a couple of weeks on July 12th for me to still be at Sola. So that's kind of my journey. I still am in a Sola Salon studio like 3 to 4 days a week. I still have my focus salon there. And I love being behind the chair. That's my main passion. But, obviously being an educator all these years and giving back to the industry is also another purpose that I have. I love it. And so when I came on board with Sola about 5 years ago, I guess, they just kind of needed connection to the industry for education for their salon owners and their stylists to be connected to the brands that they love the most. And then I kind of became, the first stylist ever. So the culture ambassador role kind of played into that. And then the director of industry relations is just to keep connecting them, to the industry through education and all of that. So it sounds like a lot, but really I just am a true entrepreneur.
Nice.
It's cool that you were the first. So you were the first person to have a Sola suite, yeah?
Cheers, by the way.
Cheers.
I love you guys. I get to have a little glass of wine. I love it.
This is just water, by the way.
Oh, yes, of course. Me too.
Mine too.
So I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. What was your question?
So you were like one of the first to actually have like the first Sola suite.
Ever. Yes, the very first. So when I said, oh my gosh, I believe in what you guys are doing and that this is exactly what I need. I said, I'll sign a lease right now. And they said, well, we don't really have one yet. And so the joke was, I go, well, I'll sign a napkin, in Starbucks. So it's kind of a cute story. But they built it about 6 months later. And, I went back to my salon owners and told them what I wanted and that I wanted to be in a Paul Mitchell Focus Salon. And they said, we'd love to be that too one day. And then eventually they did. But I just wanted to practice what I preached from my stage. And at that time, nobody had really seen that concept. I mean, there were kind of suites kind of in other states, but it was a little different. You really were more of a booth runner. You weren't really the salon owner. And that's where Sola kind of took it into a different direction. And so I just saw the opportunity of just being able to be on stage and be a salon owner with a lot of the people that I'm teaching to, and then still just kind of be on my own. I was able to leave with some integrity and not take anybody with me and open another salon and all that drama. I just really wanted my own dream, and I'm still living it.
That's what's interesting to me is, I've over the years as an employer, I had a Paul
Yeah.
on it as an employer. I've lost a lot of people over the years to Sola, which is fine. That's their dream. But this hard part is what makes me wonder a little bit. I see people that go in and then they leave. And I'm just like, but I think it's amazing that you're still there and you have long-term, so I see it like a rotation. Because I stopped in and there's a rotation. So I'm kind of curious what the percentages are of how many people actually stay and how many people use it as kind of like a stepping stone to the next step.
That's a great question. I'm not seeing you anymore, so I'm sorry, Stephen. I'm sure you were blowing kisses.
There, is that
but but I heard everything.
Yeah.
It was a really good question. Obviously, we're celebrating our 15-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So it's not just my anniversary; it's Sola's as well. And we are just surpassed 14,000 salon owners. So they are in almost all of the states and went into Canada and Brazil. So they're international now.
Wow.
But it's interesting where, maybe that might be your region or your territory. I just try to look at it from a bigger picture. It's easy to kind of categorize it as the salon suite where, they kind of go in and leave, but it's really not much different than any kind of business model. I mean, to think that someone would probably go into a chain salon, I'm not saying any names, but I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, like a Cost Cutters or something like that. I mean, typically, I don't think that they would expect them to be there for like 25 years, and then I don't really know the statistics of a traditional salon anymore. I mean, in my mind, I grew up, I'm 46 now. So, booth rent was still kind of new, like when I was graduating beauty college, at 18.
Yeah.
And so, that concept I had never really heard of until I came to the big city of Denver. And, so I saw a lot of moving around in that world anyway, maybe in an independent scenario. To be a little bit more specific, Sola was kind of the first, and now there's several brands of salon suites. So I'm sure that independent is probably shopping around a little bit. I know that from having a great relationship with all of our franchise owners, who are amazing, by the way, we have all different kinds of stories of why they leave. I mean, one of my favorites is typically we don't ever want anybody to leave. No salon, ever wants that. But I do see a lot of them maybe use it as a platform to be their own salon owner, and then maybe, train a few people out of there, or maybe get a couple of stylists working with them, and kind of it's like a more safe environments, probably crammed, but, you know, to kind of build until they can leave and open their own, you know, traditional salon. So we actually hear that story probably more than, oh, we're just leaving because we want to shop around to another suite. You know, I like to pride myself of being their culture ambassador, that the tools that our team has created is really to try to help them be a better salon owner. So now you're getting a generation that's coming in with that kind of mindset. And if they, you know, say, oh, I want more, they already kind of know what it feels like to be a salon owner, and then says, okay, now I'm ready to have a 5-chair, a 6-chair salon. So now that we're at 15 years, it's kind of neat because I think the industry is seeing that shift as well, as that's actually more opportunity for them too.
Yeah. No, that's thank you. That answers it perfectly. I was just kind of, I've always been curious because it's like I do see rotation sometimes.
Yeah. And then there's still the stories too that it just wasn't for them. Like I said, I'm a true entrepreneur. So yeah, 15 years in, it still feels like the first day, you know, but you know, some people get in and just realize, you know, maybe they need to be around more people, you know, like, you know, juicing off of each other, or they don't want the responsibility of doing their own bills and taxes and all that stuff. It's a lot to be a salon owner, you know. It's a little easier when it's just you. But and then, you know, the last part of that, you know, when you said curious of why I stay for 15 years, I'm very happy, but you also have to realize all the hats I wear. I'm a single mom. You know, I already have the taste of being a salon owner, so you know, it would be probably difficult for me to go, like, you know, just into a regular traditional salon from here, but I also don't really want to be anybody's boss. I have a lot of respect for traditional salon owners. They put their heart, soul, everything into it and try to create a culture and be a coach and all of that. And I just thank the world for all of them in the industry. I have the highest respect. I just don't know if I'd be really good at that. I think I'd be a pushover. I'm kind of too sweet, I think.
Well, you know, the whole Sola thing to me, at first I was kind of, you know, I think I was like everybody else, because, you know, I was a salon owner when the suites, not just Sola, but when the suites sort of not taking over, but sort of coming into existence. And I kind of feel like now, like, I respect the hell out of them, because I also look at them as the food trucks. You know, like the food truck of the hair industry. I mean, and
yeah.
You know, it's a great way to start a business, you know, a small business where you just take care of yourself. You do what you like. You make your own hours. If you are a entrepreneur like yourself, you can work really hard and be very successful, or you can screw off and you know, be a piece of shit, not have a good business anyways, you know. And you can almost, you know, either just keep it as a food truck, which I'm not talking bad.
No.
Or you can even go into like a brick and mortar and eventually, like you said, have your own salon, which is, you know, a bigger, you know, 12, 20 chair salon, which, you know, that's kind of rough as well. So I actually love it. And I think I even told you this this morning, Kim. I truly feel that if I was to get back behind the chair, I probably would be in a Sola now. You know, I think that it's the way to go. It's our industry, especially for somebody who's on the road as you know, as much as, you know, some of us are. You know, I mean, 40 last year. I mean, it would be so much easier to be in a small salon and my own salon and just, you know, keep all the money instead of giving it away to your employees.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's a good point to say that. You know, I get to go to all the hair shows where I get to see all you great educators, like two of yourselves. And, you know, it's pretty cool when they walk off stage and say, hey, I know you, I'm at a Sola. And, you know, I'm like, oh, you are. So it does make sense for, you know, people who maybe are educators. We have so many in our system, you know, that, you know, like yourself, you know, that travel a lot, you know, you don't have to be responsible for the livelihood of these other people, you know, when you just are kind of your own boss for yourself. And then, the other aspect, like where you said the food truck thing, it's kind of like Uber. I always say Uber,
Yeah.
but it is true. Like what I think is what makes Sola special, and I have to plug it or I wouldn't be good at my title. But we work really hard. I mean, these teams, like the marketing team and everybody that's put tools together to really truly help them be the best salon owner that they can be. So I think it is true. Like they'll know how to do their bookkeeping, their taxes, they know how to have an online booking service to help them, with expenses, everything, inventory. We do marketing. We have a Sola Pro app where we teach them how to market themselves, how to take advantage of social media, how to run your business, how to, look at your numbers differently. We ask coaches from all over the industry to help us. We're doing one right now coming up, on, facing fears of things like raising your prices and all that kind of stuff. So, if they're go-getters, we have the resources for them, to take advantage of, so it wouldn't surprise me, that successful salons down the road, might have started in a Sola.
I think it's amazing, and I know quite a few of your guys's franchisees, and I think every single one of them I met, especially the one who am I talking about? Who I think is amazing. Who's that guy?
Which one? We have any? Oh, the one. I think you mean Haynes.
Yes. Oh man, one of the best business owners I think I've ever met. Not just a franchisee, obviously, but business owners. Plus, there's the Sola in San Diego, I think, that I love as well.
That would be Austin Campbell. He just got featured in an article. We're pretty proud of him on that one. They are, and the interesting thing is none of them came from the industry. Maybe one or two might have dabbled, but they really are more business minded, and their whole focus is just to take the operations out of it for you to have a successful environment to fulfill your dreams. So it really is entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. I know that, probably the first 10 years, they're just popping up, and like Steven said, some people are leaving and this and that. So when I came on board, it was a little tough. I was a little naive to the industry, They kind of gave me the, oh, well, we love you, Kim, but, what are you doing? And I was like, but I've been doing this for over 10 years. And then they were like, oh, you were? Like they had no idea that I reached the success that I had, but I was just by myself. They just assumed I had like, a 10-chair salon. They just, it just never was spoken about. So I think that's when it was awareness to me, like, oh, it's time. We all need to just kind of get out in the open and talk about it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
We did.
Which one?
Well, Amazon. Amazon. I personally love what Amazon is doing. I mean, I actually can't buy from Amazon because I have to touch everything, and I love shopping. Like I actually can walk into any, like I am the best, like straight gay boyfriend that for anybody, because I love shopping for women. I love, that's one of my favorite things on earth, and whatnot. So Amazon really isn't my bag, but I love what they're doing. And I kind of want to hear your guys' opinions on, how things are going with this whole Amazon thing.
Sure. I mean, do you want to go first, Steven? I still can't see you. If I need to do something to my phone, I apologize.
No, don't worry. As long as you can hear me, then we're doing just fine.
Oh, there you are. I see you now.
There we go. No, why don't you go first on this topic, because I want to talk about this, but this is a good one.
Okay, well, I'm not an expert by any means. I can just give my own personal
Yeah.
opinion about it. Obviously, when Amazon came out with the program, for the associate program, and that I actually did do that out of my studio. I do have, means to, talk to a couple of different experts. I did talk to some people from Amazon before it launched, and also the manufacturer, that I work with. And typically, what was interesting for me is I wanted to know, like, why all of a sudden they came out of nowhere, and was ready to get the stylists involved and let them have a store on Amazon and all of that. So some facts that I can give you is, a lot of the brands, jumped into it because they wanted to try to help control diversion. A lot of unauthorized sellers are on Amazon, or were, I should say.
Yeah.
And so Amazon's deal was like, okay, well, let's give a cut to the stylist if they have their store on here. It comes direct from the manufacturer, and therefore they can get like a commission check, basically. And then, we'll cut all of the unauthorized sellers that you have not approved as a manufacturer out of Amazon. So they just cut them all off, like, completely. So they had to be authorized by the manufacturer. So when I applied, it took me about 2 to 3 weeks to get accepted. And then I got my own store. The benefit for me is I am in a Sola Salon, but I'm a big retailer out of my studio. I do very, very well. I pay all of my rent with retail, and my goals are 30 to 40,000 a year just in retail sales.
Nice.
So those are my goals. It's tight, but I try, so you can understand that retail is a big part of my business. But when I'm not there and I'm on the road, like we were all just talking about earlier, they're left to having to go to looking on Amazon, and then they were buying diverted product or going to Ulta, and things like that. So it was a way for me to still meet their needs and give them a better experience out of my studio when I could not cater to their needs. And there's also like benefits to that, like their mountain home or when they're going on vacation and they can order. So fast forward to the announcement last week where they're doing more business to business to stylists. And, I don't know much about that, to be honest, and why they finally decided and what their big major goals are. But what I do know is what I understand is the number one search for Amazon is beauty products. So that's what drives the consumer, the number one thing, to Amazon first. And then they'll get on and play and maybe buy a TV or a radio or whatever. So that's what piqued their interest about the professional beauty side. So then they sent out this search team, and they went and got haircuts and services and all this in our industry to see like how many people actually recommended beauty products to them, since we got to control all those sales, right, through our distributor. And they said less than half of a 1% recommended product to them when they left the salon. Isn't that crazy? Obviously, they weren't in our salons, right? But it's the reality that they were looking at, and so they saw a huge opportunity. So that's probably where they got introduced and started building relationships with salons. And so it just, my opinion personally is, I think it's just an evolution from that, and said, well, we might as well try to give them what they need too,
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think that Amazon is they're really looking at what their market is, and they're looking at their market and they're saying, okay, we have all of these people that are hitting and searching for, they're actually searching for beauty products. We need to be able to control it and make sure that we're not upsetting the manufacturers, making sure that everything is all, like it's a good product delivered to the customer from the manufacturer. And I think it's an awesome thing. I mean, for myself, I did exactly, even though I own a big salon, I did the same thing. I have an Amazon store. I became an affiliate. I'm also going to become an influencer affiliate, because you can become a social media influencer. So Ryan, you could be selling products through Amazon.
I have no clue what I would sell. I don't work in a salon.
You could just sell like booze.
Beard oil. You could do beard oil.
Beard oil. It can be anything. It doesn't really matter. But it's like the cool thing about it is they're hitting a market of people that only want to shop online. I still,
Absolutely.
It's like in our salon, we're still doing $14,000 to $16,000 a month in retail sales. It's like, yeah, it's great. It could be better. I'm shooting for 20. That's my goal. But it's like you want to be able to like constantly push it. But at the same time, if I can just pick up a little bit here and there for my clients who can't come in to pick up the products, if I can get a little bit of people traveling around, and I definitely have seen a little bit of it, and that's really awesome. I think it's a good thing, and I'm kind of excited for Amazon launching their distribution to professionals. I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do with it, because I mean, over the years, Ryan and I've talked about it, I think distribution needs to change, and so I'm really curious to see how that's going to happen.
I kind of feel like, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, the thing is, you have to also think, like, it kind of goes back to the Sola thing. There's a lot more independence than people realize. And, the traditional setup of sales through distribution is more bigger traditional salons that have, 40 stylists. So, that's where they started popping up stores everywhere. So these independents could go in and shop and get what they need. So it's just an evolution of the stores. The way I look at it probably is, convenient. And then we kind of go back to, like what I said about chain salons, like where all of their products are already, purchased through like one warehouse and then shipped to them. And, think of all those stylists who just want onesie twosies of stuff like, oh, I'm going to color my mom's hair for the 4th of July. I need a couple of tubes, but they don't have access to a rep or a distributor unless there's a store down the street from them. So it just makes sense, like I see it being more in the beginning, probably stylists who, maybe don't plan ahead. I know a ton that just go, oh, I just look at my week and then I order my color for that. They like, they just don't, they're not planners to where I would freak out. Like I like inventory, I want to make sure I have everything I need. So whoever walks through my door, I have exactly what I need, but that's just me, so everybody's different. And like, Ryan said, he likes to touch things. He's a shopper like that, so, and Stephen, you had a very valid point about, who their target is. And, personally, I'm not just old school because I'm old, but, I believe in relationships. You guys know that about me. I mean, that's my relationships mean everything to me. So I like to do my business with relationships. So I personally like to use this service correctly from sales reps. I have a great relationship with my distributor. I, want my sales rep. We just went to a baseball game yesterday together. That's important to me. I know he's looking at my points for me. He's making sure that I'm getting what I deserve. If I get any specific education or free tickets to a show or whatever, so to me, there's more value in that than just shopping onesie twosies online where you kind of miss all of that benefit. But I think, it's great. If the distributors, not the distributors, but the manufacturers made that choice, I guess it's theirs.
Yeah, I think it's, even, so I rented a station in a salon before I opened my salon because I wanted to see if I could run a business and make sure that I understood how it worked. But even at that point, I still worked with distributors, and I think it's really important. And comes to an interesting question at Sola. Do you guys teach the people in Sola to work with the distributors? Because stores have a markup of like anywhere from 10 to 20% higher price point than working actually through a salesperson and a distributor. You guys share that information with them?
Yeah, we do. It's really important. Like when franchise owners open and managers, they try to reach out to all the distributors so they can build those relationships. So then they know that they can walk them down the hall and say, hey, this is your local rep. They carry this A, B, C, and D. So a lot of them have open houses a lot. so those reps can come in and talk about what products they have, especially when they're first opening, and, just really build those relationships. We know that it's very important because also those franchise owners and managers, want opportunity to try to book education and get them involved in their community more and, all of that. And, the distributor is the hub for that.
Just so you guys know, we have about 9 minutes remaining. Just wanted to
for 30 minutes.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
We've already got 30 plus minutes.
Oh my goodness.
It goes so fast.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, always.
Well, then we need a 2.0. Let's do it next week.
Definitely.
Okay.
So I'm going to chime in really quick on just what I think about the whole thing. Yeah. And if you like, I know that some of you guys like, whatever. I love it. I love the fact that they're doing it. I think that any distributor that's afraid is afraid because they sell soap. And like you were saying, Kim, if you sell soap, you're going to die. Amazon's going to kill you. I mean, really. If you sell relationships and you work off of a relationship type thing, you're going to survive because that's what Amazon can't replace.
Right.
I feel like it's a coming to Jesus meeting, really, and I'm so grateful that they finally did it because when I hear salespeople saying, "Oh, I don't want to go into those suites because I don't want to have to stop in every single one of the suites and blah 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 because it's too much work," fan-freaking-tastic, man. Then stay out of them, and die on the vine because that's what you're gonna do, and Amazon's gonna replace you. That's cool. Where I think it's wonderful that they're finally going. It's like I said, it's a coming to Jesus is my whole thought. So,
yeah, and I think it also goes back to training. You kind of have to go to the drawing board and just try to figure out what the best experience is. Maybe the old ways of just calling on people, it might need to be more, like FaceTiming and, quick things like that. If you don't have the time to get in the car and go to all these places, just get a little bit more creative. That's what I always try to coach, these sales reps that they really want to, they're just scrambling because they have one way of doing things. So they kind of need to create a new way.
Yeah.
And I feel like sales is a byproduct of service as opposed to service is a byproduct of sales. I feel like if you have good customer service from distribution, like as a rep, then you're going to get sales because you deliver good service. So it doesn't matter what bottle of soap or tube or tub or can you sell, it's going to sell because people are buying you, not buying your suds, essentially.
I've stopped working with distributors over the years purely because of bad sales, because of bad relationships, and because of like not good customer service. So I think it comes down to like if you're an independent business, if you're an independent distributor, if you're just a small manufacturer, it doesn't matter what it is. It's always about building relationships, and I think that's why, Kim, you're in your position. That's so awesome.
Oh yeah.
Because you're the right person for it. That's true.
Well, and it just doesn't stop at Sola. I still love being an educator and going into all kinds of salonships, and I do pride myself on that. And I think what's most important to me is giving a guest experience. And really, I sell a lot of product, but I'm not a pusher. It's where my heart is. I know that I can't get what I want without using them. So why wouldn't I think that my unprofessional client could do it without it? So it's that simple. So I really always have like a simple approach, and I'm very passionate about our industry and all of us rising above together. The way all three of us do our business is completely different. And, the idea of Sola, I think finally everyone's looking at it like, oh, they're salon owners, but I don't own the building I work in. I just lease my space. I just choose to have a 2-chair salon. I don't know if you own your building, Stephen, but maybe you lease it and you choose to have a 30-chair salon, and then therefore your business model has to be different than mine, and that's all it is. It's truly just that simple. I don't know if a cost cutters owns their building, so they have a different way of doing their business, how they do it, because they're part of a franchise. So I just think, tying this whole conversation together is, I want to leave a little bit of a legacy of doing that, building relationships, bringing this industry together, rising above, building our level of our industry higher and higher. And I think with the Amazon part, I think, they're a big dog out there and they're going to play in our world and we can play with them. Or if you choose not to, then look at it as an advantage and start building better relationships with your distributors and saying, okay, well, what are you going to offer me that, Amazon can't? And that will build a relationship. Then you discuss stuff like, education and different opportunity. Maybe no one's ever taken a part of, a perks program because they're not a 40-chair salon. So maybe brands will start creating better, opportunities for independence at a different level. And it just goes on and on and on. Buy-in deals are smaller, with benefits, things like that. So I think, if we're smart, we can really raise that bar and have a better relationship.
Awesome. All right, so this is the point we just got to ask you really fast in 1 minute.
Okay.
Favorite bands?
My favorite what?
Bands. Who are you listening to music-wise?
Well, it's always with Prince, and I know that's your hometown. So, but I don't know. I'm going to Nashville for Sola Sessions in September, and I get to see Lenny Kravitz. I've never seen him live. So I'm a huge fan of him and also a crush. Hello. So I love him. So that's kind of my vibe,
Nice.
That's
when
awesome.
in September?
What was that?
When in September, Kim?
The Sola Sessions is September 16th, and it's the first time we sold out already. And that's never happened to us before. And we're not even done with our early bird pricing. So we're really excited. So Nashville must be where it's at. And then, so the concert is a few days before. So I'm really excited. I get to go see him before that.
Nice. And then how do people get a hold of you?
Okay, so I'm on Instagram. My professional is Kimmy Kisses, KIMI_kisses. And that's just because that was a nickname for a long time ago. It's probably, people misunderstand it sometimes. But it's really just, I'm a hugger. And when you get a hug from me, you guys probably know, you walk around, you're like, where's this blonde hair come from? Or why do I have glitter on me? Or there's lipstick on your cheek. And that's where Kimmy Kisses came from. So it's really about just loving everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I am so honored. I'm really excited for your podcast. I can't wait to see it.
Thank you so much again for listening to a super important podcast about hair, featuring Stephen Adams and co-host Ryan Teal. Hopefully we'll